existed. Last century will accompany you. Have a nice trip.
Beck and Peterson.
Oh yeah.
So I got some stuff in the mail. This is a jack spinning intercooler, dual rear exit, 3-inch inlet, 3-inch outlet. Really simple stuff. I've got the radiator, just simple core, nothing special. So today I'm gonna work on getting it all loaded in. We've got a few challenges I gotta figure out, but it should be relatively simple. All right, so here's the very first mock-up of sort of how things are gonna go. Our first challenge is to get the radiator under this cross member, which as you can see is gonna be really tricky. I'm gonna have to do some shaving. Once this is under here, then I'm going to build the mounts so I can lock it down. Once the radiator is locked in its position, then I will focus on the intercooler. So the intercooler, we gotta go as far back as possible, close to the radiator to try to remove any dead space. And then we've got to work around how close the end tank or the outlets are to the radiator core. Once I've got that sorted and I've got it positioned where I want, I'm gonna have to do brackets, or I'm going to do brackets that are going to, so the brackets are gonna bolt to the plate, which is gonna be fun. And then the intercooler will bolt to the bracket. And it'll give it a little bit of raise. And then once I've got the position locked down to the weight plate, I'm gonna go and build the bracket from the intercooler to the rad support. So yeah, that is the plan. Let's get to it. All right, so far so good. We've got it fitting kind of well. This is gonna have to get cleaned up a little, and this needs to get notched for the tube. But what's cool is the radiator is as far forward as it can get. I mean, that's about as tight as it's gonna be inside the area. We do have a few issues, so we gotta figure out what we're gonna do with this drain plug. What's cool is if I build a little spot for it, it'd be a nice, easy place for the radiator to sit. So that's kind of the plan right now, is to maybe drill a hole, but we gotta see how dense this metal is, because I'm nervous about it. But yeah, so radiator mount, new support, and then I can start work on the intercooler. So this is for sure soft enough that we're gonna make some usable progress. So I'm going to drill a hole here. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna go all the way through, because remember, it is thick, but hi. All right, so I made some changes, or I'm making some changes. Initially, I was gonna do plastic mounts for the bottom part of the radiator and the intercooler. So far, I'm sticking with the intercooler plastic mounts, but I'm realizing that it would be a lot better for how tight a fit it is to have mounts just right here, so that I can slide the radiator in and then bolt the mounts in. If I put a plastic mount under there, it's gonna increase the total stack height, and getting it in and out is gonna suck. So I'm gonna weld a mount here and over there for the top, and then maybe I'll revisit plastic at the top, but honestly, I don't really think I'm gonna do that either. I think I'm probably gonna go metal to metal all for the whole radiator. So yep, that's fine. I'm starting to get excited. Okay, brackets are good. The welding is garbage on that side, I can fix it. But the placement, great. The radiator going in and out with these style, really good. And I even got a bit of a, I mean, I don't want to do it too much because I need to pull up on this, but the whole assembly slides or rotates in and out of position, which is really nice. So that just leaves the top mount, and I printed this last night. So this is just I'm keeping it as simple as humanly possible until the car is up and running. So this is just a real simple 5mm on each side, cover, and I have it kind of just right about here. And so you do need to pull up on the cross members slightly, which I know is kind of cheating, but I'm okay with it. Okay, new plan. I was initially going to make the holes and drop the rib nuts, right? But I realized that I have a much better choice that I could be making. This is good, it would work, but it does increase the stack height. Like you saw, I had to lift up with one hand on the cross member, which means that it doesn't actually really fit. So I have the remaining anchor points for the old mounts, and it's not a great position to do an overhand like clamp like that. But what I realized I could do is I've got these two usable holes here. This one's threaded, but this one's standard. I could just drop a bracket straight across. Oh yeah, that would work perfectly. There's plenty of room. So it's gonna be an L bracket, essentially like this. And the rib nut will be there, and then it'll just bolt to the radiator. And it'll be cleaner, easier to install, kick in and out. It's a better design. All right, this is the hopefully last version of the upper radiator mount. So I noticed it's really hard to get the bolt in, as well as a small fitment issue. With the ledge there, I made a little like a little concave, and I just can't get a socket on there. So I modified the design. So now that it just fits flush, which will make it easier to get with a wrench. And then I also put a cap on there to lock onto the back. I haven't tested it yet, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, this hopefully will be the last one, and then I'll get started on the intercooler. This one fits really well. Radiator with just the one is pretty locked in. You can see I do have a bit of bowing. Part of that, I think, is just that it's just hard to get it perfect, because you're dealing with two different faces, and they have to be exactly perfect to get a snug, perfect fit. So I could probably modify it a little, maybe put a small angle on it, and that would clean up that little gap. But honestly, I'm happy with it. It looks great. I do need to get some longer hardware because that doesn't fit, but I have some at the house. So really, it's just this side, and I'm still gonna move on the intercooler because I'm excited to see how that fits. Okay, this is bottom mount for the intercooler. I purposely put 2 millimeters worth of space on each side, and that gives it a nice snug fit. I'm gonna do one more here. This worked, so I mean, the fitment is good. So I'm gonna print the next one, and then I'm gonna make templates to cut out the foam, so that's a little bit better looking than this. But yeah, getting there. Good snug fit. I just need to lace them back here. But the actual should hold it nice and tight. As long as I brace the top. All right, so I have the bolts tapped into the weight plate. This one's pretty sturdy. I have to go deeper and rethread, I think, for that one a little more, or find, possibly raise it up, maybe make the stack height a little bigger, because this one I misjudged. A little loose, but a little hurdle to overcome. The pads, they don't look great. I'm gonna change those. This is kind of just experimenting. But for now, the intercooler does go in pretty effortlessly, but you do need to do it with 2 hands. So I need to put the camera on a mount to kind of give an explanation of how it goes in. All right, so basically bring it up to the top, rotate it forward so that the end tanks are parallel. Drop it in. So that's gonna probably do it for this one. We have a few more hurdles to get over. We gotta fix the end tanks so that they come out further. I might redo this one because it is a little bit off, and I have to do the top mounts. But I'm gonna probably come back to those because that's just kind of how I like to work. And I'm gonna get to the manifold, as you can see, peeking back there. I haven't gone to that yet. But right now, my big hurdle is teaching myself to weld aluminum. I got a new welder, and this is my, absolute expert level progress. So I've got some more learning to do, and then I'll come back with charge pipes, maybe the updated mounts, and the turbo, which is hiding. Cool.